Pakistan is excessively dependent on OIC's support, OIC's position, and OIC's endorsement of the need for a peaceful settlement. I'll draw attention in terms of post-5th August events, and starting from the very date itself when India took the first illegal action and has followed it up with a spate of other illegal measures. In terms of setting perhaps the context right for more knowledgeable speakers to analyze it in legal terms, in historical terms, and as well as looking at the way forward on how to go about dealing with dispute in terms of Pakistan's foreign policy options. The most important thing, of course, everyone of us knows here, but it is important to mention it at the outset, that it was India that took the issue to the Security Council in 1948. And after hours of debate, there are documents, voluminous documents that capture it. The international community decided that it was not about a territory which belonged to either India or Pakistan, listening to all the arguments. It was essentially about the right to self-determination of the Kashmiri people, because they, being the concerned party, were never consulted in a solution. So that right to self-determination was accorded to them. Now, since we have this, I'm at the head of a pioneering act as the first permanent representative of Pakistan to OIC, and since we have a new mission dedicated to OIC and other international organizations that form part of the broader OIC system, we have been trying to project and promote one important thing, and I would like to place it before this August House as well, is that Palestine and Kashmir are essentially premised on the right to self-determination. They have a common genesis. If you look at the sequence, the resolution on Kashmir was passed in January 1948. Palestine one followed in March 1948. So sequentially, the concepts that are part of the prescribed solution, the concepts were basically discovered or put forth or for the first time promoted in the Kashmir, in case of Kashmir, and then later transposed and weaved into the Palestine resolution. So that sequence also has to be borne in mind when we look at the commonality of genesis of these two issues, which form part of the OIC agenda and international agenda. Now, in taking actions with regard to revocation of Article 370 and 35A, what India did was it violated not only a series of UN resolutions, including 47 and 91, it also violated a number of international instruments, including the Universal Declaration of Human Rights, the International Covenant on Civil and Political Rights, the International Covenant on Economic, Social and Cultural Rights, etc., etc. This goes on. Again, what is important to be put in perspective and perhaps be pursued not only in terms of the proceedings of this seminar, but later at the ISSI, is that in terms of resolution 80 and 91, they were passed, UNSC resolutions, when India was a non-permanent member of the Security Council. Now, they never objected to that resolution, those resolutions. They abstained. This is very significant, that they abstained in terms of those resolutions, where the standard prescription, which is the resolution of the dispute through the democratic method of a free and fair plebiscite, is being prescribed. They never objected to it as non-permanent members. When we say that there are numerous statements from the Indian leadership on record, written, even in terms of voice recording, where they are promising the right to self-determination of the Kashmiri people, this legal fact also perhaps needs to be weaved into the narratives going forward. That's important. The other thing perhaps which needs to be borne in mind is that the Kashmiri Muslims, basically as has already been mentioned, are being turned into a minority through the domicile law and through the following the revocation of Article 370, the illegal actions that are being taken is basically transforming them into a minority, and this is a unilateral action. Such a unilateral action taken either by India or Pakistan at any stage, being the two parties to the dispute, is not admissible under UNSC Resolution 122. And of course, the Fourth Geneva Convention also applies to it. I'm sure the legal discussions that will take place later in this seminar will shed more light on it. Now, going forward, what I want to perhaps prescribe is that, at least I can suggest as a serving diplomat and dealing with the issue hands-on at the OIC, is that we have an opportunity. The 48th session of the Islamic Council of Foreign Ministers, OIC Council of Foreign Ministers, is slated to be held in Pakistan this year. Next year, I think around 23rd of March, with the 75th anniversary celebration. So that is an opportunity for us to come up with perhaps an action plan and at least look at the resolution 2334 of the Security Council, which on Palestine basically sort of rejects the Israeli settlements in the occupied territories, and it calls them an obstacle in terms of the just and comprehensive settlement of the Palestinian issue. I think such an admonishment of Security Council on the Kashmir issue is also perhaps necessary and imperative. Due to paucity of time, I would wind up my remarks here, and I would be listening more keenly to the essentially legal discussion